The Grand Hall of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City was alive with opulence and purpose. Crystal chandeliers bathed the room in warm light, reflecting off gilded mirrors and the designer attire of the city's elite. It was the annual Global Sustainability Gala, an event known for merging luxury with philanthropy. The theme of the night centered on raising funds for green technology initiatives, with the world's most influential minds in attendance. Celebrities mingled with CEOs, and live music floated through the air, creating an atmosphere of celebration tinged with urgency. The gala wasn't just another social event, it was a stage for activism disguised as glamour. Amid the crowd, whispers revolved around the event's largest donor, Mr. Richard Harrison, CEO of Titan Energy Corporation. Known for his deep pockets and controversial environmental track record, Harrison's attendance sparked mixed reactions. But tonight, the star guest everyone anticipated was none other than Elon Musk, the enigmatic innovator known for challenging conventions. Elon Musk's arrival at the gala was characteristically understated yet commanding. Clad in a sleek black suit without a tie, his presence contrasted sharply with the extravagance surrounding him. Unlike others who basked in the limelight, Musk appeared focused, exchanging minimal pleasantries before taking his seat at a table near the stage. His demeanor, both confident and contemplative, drew curious glances from attendees who recognized his penchant for disruptive ideas. As the gala progressed, Elon quietly observed the proceedings, occasionally leaning over to discuss points with his colleagues. He was a man used to being the smartest person in the room, and tonight was no exception. Conversations swirled around him, but he remained detached, his gaze occasionally drifting toward the podium where the night's speeches would unfold. Little did anyone know, his presence would soon shift the evening's narrative entirely. Richard Harrison, CEO of Titan Energy Corporation, embodied the archetype of corporate dominance. Towering over most attendees, his tailored tuxedo and confident smirk exuded power. He was the kind of man who could silence a room with a single gesture. Despite his company's controversial role in the fossil fuel industry, he had positioned himself as a champion of sustainability, thanks to well-funded marketing campaigns and strategic philanthropy. Harrison greeted attendees with charm, his booming laughter echoing through the hall. Yet, beneath his charisma was a calculated effort to dominate the narrative. Tonight, he wasn't just a donor but a key speaker, and his presence was both celebrated and scrutinized. As he mingled, his eyes landed on Elon Musk. A subtle nod acknowledged Musk's fame, but Harrison's smirk suggested a rivalry brewing beneath the surface. The gala's mission was noble yet bittersweet, a reminder of humanity's precarious relationship with the planet. The charity focused on funding cutting-edge research in renewable energy, a cause that had become increasingly urgent in the wake of natural disasters and climate reports. Speeches throughout the night underscored the importance of innovation, particularly in the tech sector. For many in attendance, the event was more than an opportunity to donate. It was a chance to align themselves with a cause greater than personal gain. Yet, the irony wasn't lost on some. The room was filled with individuals whose fortunes were built on industries contributing to the very problems they sought to solve. For Elon Musk, who had dedicated his career to sustainable solutions, the event was a paradox, an intersection of hope and hypocrisy. Continue developing further points? The hum of conversations quieted as the master of ceremonies took to the stage. A charismatic speaker, she welcomed the audience and highlighted the achievements of the charity, setting the tone for the evening. The spotlight danced across the room, illuminating the faces of dignitaries and innovators, with Elon Musk and Richard Harrison prominently seated at opposite ends of the hall. As the speeches began, Harrison's turn arrived. He strode to the podium with the confidence of a man used to commanding attention. His speech painted a glowing picture of Titan Energy's supposed commitment to sustainability. "Our future lies in harnessing energy responsibly," he proclaimed, eliciting polite applause. Musk's expression, however, remained stoic, his fingers tapping lightly on the table, a subtle sign of brewing discontent. As Harrison's speech continued, Elon Musk's calm facade began to crack. Words like green energy initiatives and responsible practices grated on his nerves, knowing Titan Energy's history of lobbying against renewable energy policies. Musk exchanged glances with his tablemates, his sharp eyes betraying a mix of disbelief and irritation. When Harrison concluded with a self-congratulatory flourish, the applause was polite but not enthusiastic. Musk, however, refrained from clapping entirely. Instead, he leaned back in his chair, his gaze fixed on the stage. The unspoken tension was palpable. Musk's reputation for challenging false narratives preceded him, and those nearby sensed that something was about to unfold. As Harrison returned to his seat, he noticed Musk's unenthusiastic response. Their eyes met across the room, a charged moment that silenced the chatter around them. Musk's piercing gaze was neither hostile nor indifferent. It was analytical, as if stripping away the layers of Harrison's persona to reveal the man beneath. Harrison smirked, raising his glass in a mock toast to Musk. The gesture, though subtle, was laced with arrogance. Musk's response was equally understated. He tilted his head slightly, his lips forming a thin line. It was a silent challenge, a battle of wills that left those who noticed wondering if the night would take an unexpected turn. The evening progressed toward its interactive segment, a moderated Q&A session where attendees could pose questions to the keynote speakers. The session was intended to foster collaboration and spark meaningful dialogue about sustainability. Cards were distributed, allowing guests to write their questions, which the moderator would later read aloud. Elon Musk sat forward, pen in hand, writing deliberately on his card. Meanwhile, Harrison appeared relaxed, sipping his wine as if confident no question could unsettle him. When the cards were collected, the tension in the room heightened. Musk handed his card to the attendant, his expression unreadable, leaving those around him wondering what he had written. The moderator scanned the submitted questions, her expression shifting as she read Musk's entry. "Our next question comes from Mr. Elon Musk," she announced, sparking a wave of murmurs. It reads, "How does Titan Energy reconcile its stated commitment to sustainability with its ongoing investments in fossil fuel expansion?" The question landed like a thunderclap. Harrison's smirk faltered, replaced by a momentary flicker of irritation. The audience leaned forward, sensing the brewing confrontation. Musk remained composed, his gaze locked on Harrison as the room collectively held its breath, awaiting his response. Richard Harrison adjusted his tie, his polished demeanor faltering ever so slightly. He began his response with an air of condescension, attempting to discredit Musk's question by emphasizing Titan Energy's charitable contributions. "We believe in a balanced approach," he said, his tone measured but defensive. Musk listened intently, his expression unwavering. Harrison's response was met with scattered applause, but it was clear his rhetoric hadn't swayed the crowd. For every word he spoke, Musk's silence spoke louder, his reputation for exposing corporate hypocrisy amplifying the weight of his unspoken critique. Elon Musk raised his hand, requesting a microphone. The room quieted further, all eyes turning to him as he stood. His voice, measured and calm, carried a gravity that commanded attention. While charitable contributions are commendable, they don't negate the need for systemic change, he began. True sustainability isn't about optics, it's about action. The audience was riveted. Musk then cited reports detailing Titan Energy's significant investments in coal plants and its lobbying efforts against renewable energy subsidies. "Can we truly call it progress?" he asked, "when the harm outweighs the good?" His pointed remarks left little room for misinterpretation. Harrison's composed facade began to crack, his fingers tightening around his glass as Musk concluded with a faint but unmistakable challenge. "Perhaps we need less spin and more substance?" A ripple of murmurs spread across the room as the weight of Musk's words sank in. Guests exchanged glances, some nodding in agreement while others whispered about the audacity of his critique. Among them were journalists, their pens furiously scribbling down every word. Harrison, visibly flustered, plastered on a strained smile, but the damage was done. The audience's shifting mood was palpable. Musk's reputation for speaking uncomfortable truths resonated deeply. In contrast, Harrison's vague platitudes now seemed hollow. The atmosphere had transformed, and the gala was no longer just a celebration. It had become a stage for reckoning. Sensing his credibility slipping, Harrison stood to address the room. "Mr. Musk raises an interesting point," He began, his voice steady but his smile forced. "But I believe these matters are more nuanced than sound bites allow." He launched into a defense of Titan Energy's initiatives, listing projects meant to demonstrate their commitment to sustainability. However, his words lacked the impact he intended. The audience's earlier enthusiasm had waned, and many appeared unconvinced. Musk remained seated, his expression neutral, yet his silence seemed to speak volumes. Harrison's attempt to regain control felt more like damage control, underscoring the growing divide between perception and reality. Before Harrison could sit down, a young woman from the audience raised her hand. Introduced as an environmental activist and a recipient of the charity scholarship program, she addressed Harrison directly. "Mr. Harrison," she began, her voice steady despite her youth, "if Titan Energy is committed to sustainability, why does your company actively oppose renewable energy legislation?" Her question, though politely phrased, carried the sharpness of truth. The audience erupted in applause, signaling their approval. Harrison, caught off guard, stumbled over his response, offering vague assurances without addressing the core issue. The activist's courage inspired others in the audience, further turning the tide against him. Elon Musk seized the moment to stand once more. "This is exactly the kind of leadership we need," he said, gesturing toward the young activist. His tone shifted, becoming aspirational as he outlined a vision for a sustainable future driven by innovation and accountability. He spoke of Tesla's mission to accelerate the world's transition to renewable energy and SpaceX's efforts to ensure humanity's survival beyond Earth. "The path forward isn't easy," he admitted, "but it's necessary. And it requires honesty about where we are and where we need to go." The room erupted into applause, this time louder and more enthusiastic. Musk's vision had struck a chord, leaving Harrison looking increasingly out of place. As soon as the gala ended, journalists flocked to cover the explosive encounter. Headlines spread quickly, each one more dramatic than the last. "Elon Musk calls out CEO at charity gala," and "Musk challenges corporate giants' ethics in front of VIPs." Within hours, the story was trending on social media. People across the globe shared clips of the confrontation, many praising Musk for his unapologetic stance on sustainability. The media frenzy wasn't just about Musk's critique, it was about the stark contrast between the ideal of corporate charity and the reality of corporate greed. The public debate ignited conversations about transparency, environmental responsibility, and the role of powerful individuals in shaping the future. While some defended Harrison, many found Musk's challenge refreshing, further cementing his image as a fearless disruptor. By the next morning, Harrison's PR team was working overtime to mitigate the damage. Press releases were drafted, interviews scheduled, and strategic talking points devised. Titan Energy's representatives flooded media channels, attempting to present their CEO in a more positive light. They emphasized Harrison's philanthropic history and commitment to sustainability. "If only the public knew the whole story," they claimed. Despite these efforts, the tide of public opinion had already turned. The more Harrison tried to spin the narrative, the more his efforts seemed like damage control. His once dominant image as a powerful CEO had taken a hit. The public had seen through the gloss of his company's PR machine, and no amount of polished rhetoric could hide the cracks in his facade. While many had long viewed Musk as a polarizing figure, the charity gala incident sparked an unlikely wave of support. Environmental groups, tech innovators, and even some mainstream politicians began speaking out in favor of Musk's stance. They applauded his willingness to call out corporate hypocrisy, something they had been doing behind closed doors for years. Among those stepping up was a former CEO of a rival company, who publicly backed Musk's claims about the need for more direct action on climate change. "For too long, big corporations have been given a free pass," the former CEO said. "Elon Musk has a way of cutting through the noise and addressing the issues that matter." This show of solidarity further amplified Musk's message, drowning out Harrison's attempt to rewrite the narrative. As the media storm intensified, Musk and Harrison found themselves in an unexpected, one-on-one meeting behind closed doors. What began as a tense encounter soon evolved into an exchange of ideas. Harrison, though still defensive, realized he couldn't simply ignore Musk's criticisms. Musk, for his part, took the opportunity to push for real, tangible commitments from Titan Energy, projects that would drastically reduce the company's carbon footprint in the next decade. The conversation wasn't without its friction, but it revealed a rare moment of vulnerability in Harrison. He began to understand that his company's legacy was on the line, and simply defending the status quo wouldn't be enough. Musk, ever the provocateur, didn't offer easy solutions, but he did plant a seed of doubt in Harrison's mind about the company's long-term strategy. The fallout from the charity gala continued to reverberate in the weeks that followed. Investors began to question Titan Energy's commitment to sustainability, with some even pulling their support. Share prices took a slight dip, and environmental groups called for more stringent regulations on companies with massive carbon footprints. For Harrison, the sting of the gala encounter lingered, with many people now seeing him as a leader out of touch with the pressing issues of the modern world. Musk, on the other hand, emerged as an even more influential figure. While his blunt style of confrontation was never everyone's cup of tea, it had undeniably shifted the public discourse. He had called out corporate irresponsibility in a way that few others had dared to, and the impact was undeniable. Musk's brand as an iconoclast and reformer had only grown stronger, making him a beacon for those who wanted to see a more sustainable, honest corporate world. Harrison's authority within Titan Energy began to fracture in the aftermath of the gala. Board members, many of whom had previously viewed him as an untouchable figure, began to privately voice concerns about his leadership. Some executives within the company had long felt that Titan's approach to sustainability was more about image than substance, and Musk's public challenge had illuminated these flaws. While Harrison worked hard to maintain control, whispers of potential leadership changes began circulating. Some board members even entertained the possibility of bringing in a more progressive figure to steer the company toward genuine sustainability. For Harrison, the pressure was mounting, and the image of corporate power he had so carefully cultivated was starting to slip through his fingers. In the wake of the gala, Elon Musk's influence spread far beyond the world of technology and space exploration. Environmental groups, social justice organizations, and even some in the financial sector began seeking his counsel on how to make industries more accountable. Musk's straightforward approach to calling out hypocrisy had won him many allies in these circles. As he moved forward, Musk began to shape the conversation around corporate responsibility in ways no one had anticipated. He became a leading voice in pushing for stronger regulations on environmental practices, pushing companies to adopt green technologies and move away from fossil fuels. His influence, once concentrated in the tech world, now extended into sectors he had never before engaged with, further cementing his role as a change agent in both business and society. Amid mounting pressure, Harrison decided it was time to make a public move to repair his tarnished reputation. At a press conference, he offered an apology for his behavior at the gala, expressing regret over the way he handled the situation. However, his apology was carefully worded, focusing more on the misunderstanding than on taking full responsibility for his company's environmental impact. Despite his best efforts, the public saw through his thinly veiled attempt at damage control. The apology lacked sincerity, and many perceived it as a mere tactic to save face. While some in the media and business world accepted Harrison's apology at face value, the broader public remained skeptical. Musk's words had struck a chord, and Harrison's contrition seemed more like an afterthought than a genuine change of heart. The gala incident triggered a deep divide within the corporate world. On one side, leaders like Musk, who advocated for transparency, bold action on climate change, and ethical business practices, gained growing support. On the other side, traditional CEOs like Harrison, who had long embraced the status quo, found themselves facing increasing scrutiny. This divide wasn't just ideological, it was practical. Business strategies and operational models began to shift in response to the public outcry. Some corporations started adopting sustainability measures at an accelerated pace, recognizing that future investors and customers would demand more responsible practices. Others, still tethered to old ways, dug their heels in, dismissing the growing trend as a fleeting public reaction. The rift between these two groups promised to reshape industries for years to come. Summit on Corporate Responsibility. Emboldened by the support he had received, Musk took his message to a larger stage. He called for a global summit on corporate responsibility, inviting CEOs, environmental activists, policymakers, and thought leaders from various industries to discuss how business practices could evolve in line with pressing social and environmental needs. The summit was billed as an unprecedented opportunity for collaboration, and it captured the attention of the global media. Musk's vision was clear: a future where profit and sustainability didn't have to be at odds. He used his platform to urge leaders to embrace real change, presenting actionable steps that could lead to more ethical, green, and transparent business practices. His call for a unified effort to tackle climate change and corporate greed resonated with many, and the summit became a landmark moment in the movement toward responsible corporate governance. After months of backlash and internal pressure, Harrison reached out to Musk with an olive branch. Recognizing the significance of Musk's influence and the growing demand for change, Harrison proposed a joint initiative between Titan Energy and Musk's companies. The goal was to launch a collaborative effort aimed at developing sustainable technologies and accelerating the transition to renewable energy. The proposal, which included a mix of technological innovation and philanthropic endeavors, was a clear attempt by Harrison to redeem himself in the eyes of the public and investors. Musk, cautious but intrigued, agreed to meet with Harrison to discuss the details. This potential partnership marked a dramatic shift in the dynamics between the two powerful figures, transforming their rivalry into an unlikely alliance, one that could reshape the future of corporate responsibility. In a groundbreaking move, Musk and Harrison announced their joint initiative to the public, creating waves across both the tech and energy sectors. The partnership aimed to create cutting-edge renewable energy solutions, reduce carbon emissions, and fund environmental sustainability projects worldwide. The collaboration was seen as a powerful statement. Two powerful men from different industries were coming together to address one of the most pressing issues of the 21st century. The partnership was met with a mix of skepticism and optimism. Critics questioned the sincerity of Harrison's intentions, wondering if his company was truly committed to change or simply trying to regain public favor. However, many environmental advocates and industry leaders saw the collaboration as a step in the right direction, eager to see what innovations would come out of this high-profile union. The business world was watching closely, waiting to see if the pairing of Musk's radical ideas and Harrison's corporate infrastructure could truly make a lasting difference. The announcement of Musk and Harrison's joint venture sent shockwaves through the media, but not everyone was convinced of its potential. Environmentalists, who had long been critical of Titan Energy, were divided on the move. Some expressed cautious optimism, hopeful that the partnership could result in meaningful change, while others feared it was a calculated PR stunt to rebuild Harrison's damaged reputation. Musk supporters, meanwhile, welcomed the initiative as a powerful signal that big business was finally addressing the climate crisis in a serious way. However, some still questioned Musk's motives, wondering whether his true focus would remain on profit-driven ventures rather than long-term environmental goals. As the public debate raged on, the success or failure of this ambitious partnership would become a defining moment in the battle between corporate greed and social responsibility. That changed everything. To kick off their joint venture, Musk and Harrison held a press conference that was broadcast live to millions around the world. In front of a packed audience, they outlined their shared vision for the future, emphasizing innovation, sustainability, and the need for a collective effort to combat climate change. Both men spoke passionately about the importance of transitioning to clean energy, with Musk promising to push the envelope on technological advancements and Harrison committing to substantial reductions in Titan Energy's carbon footprint. The press conference became a defining moment in both men's careers. Musk's supporters saw him as a visionary who could change the world, while Harrison's hesitant support was met with mixed reactions. For many, this was a chance to see whether the corporate world could evolve, or if the same old corporate tactics would persist. The true impact of their collaboration remained to be seen, but the press conference marked the beginning of a new chapter in their public personas. Responsibility begins. Months after the press conference, the results of Musk and Harrison's partnership began to take shape. New renewable energy projects were launched. Titan Energy made impressive strides toward reducing its environmental impact, and Musk's companies expanded their own sustainable initiatives. The collaboration sparked a wave of change across industries, with other major corporations following suit and ramping up their own sustainability efforts. While it was clear that Musk's influence had been a catalyst for the transformation, Harrison's company was also beginning to change. Public perceptions of both men shifted as they delivered on their promises. The impact of the charity gala confrontation, once seen as a moment of conflict, was now regarded as a pivotal turning point in the movement toward responsible corporate governance. What started as a tense public clash had evolved into a partnership that could change the world for the better, proving that even the most unlikely alliances could lead to extraordinary results.